Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to session number 9 of the Swim England East Region 2024 Long Course Championships, live from Inspire Luton Sports Village. It is our last session of this weekend for the 15 years and over, and of course that means it is a finals session, so we are going to see some incredibly fast swimming. We're going to be starting off with the women's 50 metres backstroke, moving on then to the men's 200 metres butterfly, going on to the 100 metres breaststroke for the women, then on to the 50 metres freestyle for the gentlemen, and we're going to be doing a few more events after that, culminating in the 400 metres medley team relay for the gentlemen. So we are certainly going to have a fast evening of swimming. And we, of course, are ably assisted by an incredibly experienced team of referees. We have our technical director, one Jerry Metcalf. We are then joined on the pool side by referee Jane Howe and Jane O'Brien. The AOE referee is Jonathan Ray, and today's starter is Louise Mackey. So a very experienced team. We are in very capable hands indeed. And of course, yes, and before we begin it, can we have a round of applause for all of our officials and volunteers, of whom have given up their time so generously over the last few days. It really is appreciated. And of course, this event would not be able to run without their assistance. So thank you very much. And of course, all of the results from this weekend will be available online on Sports Systems, so certainly check that out. We're just making a few minor technical checks in order to ensure that everything can run to time before we begin and start some very fast swimming. Event 341, the women's 50 metres backstroke final. In lane number 1 from Stevenage, Sophie Stelmarch. In lane 2 from Chelmsford, Gabriella Mayer. In lane 3 from Biggleswade, Amy Mayer. In lane number 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Nicole Maynard. In lane 5 from St. Felix School, Grace Robinson. In lane 6 from Newmarket, Miley Wilson Mansfield. In lane number 7 from Putteridge, Charlotte Pound. And in lane number 8 from Basildon and Phoenix, Elizabeth Swarby. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the women's 15 years 50 metre backstroke final. Referee. Good start there from Nicole Maynard of Basildon and Phoenix, the fastest qualifier in this event. Only 0.2 between her and Grace Robinson, who qualified second fastest here. And it looks to be Grace Robinson, of whom is having the better start. She just seems to be edging in front here of Nicole Maynard. 31.63 and 31.83, the times that they set this morning. It looks like they're on course to beat that potentially. And who's going to take the gold? It is going to be Grace Robinson, Nicole Maynard in second, and Amy Mayer in third. We now move on to event 3-4 the women's 16 years, 50 metres backstroke final. In lane number 1 from the city of Cambridge, Alice Watts. In lane number 2 from Hatfield, Erin Curry. In lane 3 from Newmarket, Adria Redutate. In lane 4 from the city of Peterborough, Vanessa Simonova. In lane number 5 from Bedford, Eloise Cole. In lane 6 from Norwich Swan, Emily Pitcher. In lane number 7 from Chelmsford, Olivia Medham. And in lane number 8 from the city of St Albans, Sophie Hollis. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the female night 16 years 50 metre backstroke final. Referee. Vanessa Simonova and Eloise Cole in 4 and 5. There is 0.02 between them here. So this should make for an interesting race. And it seems that Vanessa of the city of Peterborough is just out in front. But it is a 50. There's not much in it at all. These two ladies battling it out here for the regional title. The final 10 metres here. Who's going to take it? It seems that Eloise is on the lane line at the moment. Very American expressionism, but Vanessa seems to be taking the gold. 30.72. Eloise gets second, and Adria Reduate gets third. Moving on to event 3-4-3, the women's 17 years and over 50 metre backstroke final. In lane number 1 from Team Ipswich, Matilda Bogle. In lane 2 from Norwich Swan, Amara Addison. In lane number 3 from Devon, Connie Davies. In lane 4 from the city of Peterborough, Hannah Willis. In lane number 5 from the city of Cambridge, Georgia Holgate. In lane 6 from Bishop Stortford, Neve James. In lane number 7 from Hatfield, Charlotte Williams. And in lane number 8 from Basildon and Phoenix, Evangeline Pierce. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the women's 17 years and over 50 metre backstroke. Over to you, referee. And some good underwater work there, going at least 10 metres. Up first, it looks to be Neve James of Bishop Stortford in lane number 6. She is the oldest qualifier in this event, but it certainly is a good start from Amara Addison of Norwich Swan. Still all to play for now as we come into the final few metres. Amara Addison of Norwich Swan looks to be in the lead, but coming through is Hannah Willis of the City of Peterborough, who gets the touch there, 30.22. Second goes to Amara Addison, and third, well, that goes to Connie Davies in lane number 3. So confirmation of the official result there for the final as we now turn our attention to the other end of the pool. Event 3-4 for the men's 15 years 200 metre butterfly final. In lane number 1 from the City of Peterborough, Frank Lamb. In lane 2 from Basildon and Phoenix, Connor Mint. In lane 3 from Putteridge, Harry Bird. In lane number 4 from St Felix School, Jude Gunner. In lane number 5 from Basildon and Phoenix, Ashton Blake. In lane number 6 from West Norfolk, Jamie Wilson. In lane 7 from Basildon and Phoenix, Evan Larth. And in lane number 8 from Flitwick, Daniel De Filippo. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 15 years 200 metre butterfly final. Over to you, referee. 200 butterfly is an absolutely grueling event. These chaps have already swum it once. They're swimming it again with the intention of one of them becoming a regional champion here. And certainly Daniel De Filippo of Flitwick is going out strong, looking to get that title over in lane number 8. It's a very good start from him. In fact, he seems to be leading the way. Second, so at the turn then. In lane number 5, Ashton Blake of Basildon Phoenix. Second is Daniel De Filippo in lane number 8. Third, up after the breakout, is Harry Bird of Putteridge. Certainly not the spearhead formation that one might expect to see here. Daniel De Filippo doing very well on the outside, but first at the moment is in fact Ashton Blake of Basildon and Phoenix. He's going to touch at the halfway stage with a 104.64. Second goes to Harry Bird, 106.89. Daniel De Filippo, 107.3. Not too far behind him is Jude Gunner, but still out in front here is Ashton Blake of Basildon and Phoenix. He qualified second fastest with a time of 2:22.16 this morning. He's going to be looking to beat that. He's going to be looking to beat his personal best. Second at the moment is Jude Gunner of St Felix School. Third, well, that looks to be Harry Bird of Putteridge. But with 50 metres left to go, Ashton Blake of Basildon and Phoenix in the front. Jude Gunner and Harry Bird starting to come up on the left-hand side. Can Ashton Blake, does he have enough energy in order to retain what has been a very strong race from him? Closing the gap between Jude Gunner and Ashton Blake here. It looks like it's going to be incredibly tight as they come into the final 10 metres. Ashton Blake just being beaten at the moment by Jude Gunner, who's going to be taking the gold here. 2:18.83. Ashton Blake in second. Harry Bird gets the bronze, 2:21.29. But Jude Gunner there getting the gold and becoming a regional champion for the men's 15 years 200 metre butterfly final. We now move on to event 3, 4, 5, the men's 16 years 200 metre butterfly final. In lane number 1, we have from the City of Cambridge, Fernando Cleland-Ferdin. In lane number 2 from Bedford, Ryan Close. In lane 3 from the City of Peterborough, Rufus Bennett. In lane 4 from Thurrock, Joshua Shepherd. In lane number 5 from the City of Peterborough, Kian Lee. In lane 6 from Putteridge, Marcus King. And in lane number 7 from Hatfield, Daniel Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 16 years 20 meter butterfly final. Over to you, referee. Our fastest competitor then, Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock, 2:18.51. That's the time he swum this morning. He's certainly going to be having his eyes set on that gold medal and the regional title. But he's got to swim 4 lengths of butterfly, 200 metres. Kian Lee of the City of Peterborough, he has been a name of which we've seen repeatedly over the course of this weekend. Swimming very well, but touching first after the first 50 is Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock. Second is Kian Lee. Rufus Bennett, Ryan Close in 3rd and 4th respectively. But coming back down the pool here towards the final 100 metres, Thurrock's Joshua Shepherd still out in front. A good performance from Bedford's Ryan Close here in lane number 2. But as we come now, turn on to the final 100 metres, it is going to be Joshua Shepherd who turns first, 104.84. Kian Lee in second, Ryan Close. Kian Lee and Ryan Close in joint second there, but not much in it between Rufus and Marcus King either. There is still all to play for between these 5 gentlemen here. It looks to be Kian Lee of the City of Peterborough who's in second. Ryan Close of Bedford is doing very well. He seems to be taking the gold medal position at this stage with 50 metres left to go. But as we said, there is not much in it at all. It will come down to who has the most energy on this final 50 metres. Up first then is Ryan Close of Bedford. Second is a little bit more difficult to decipher. Marcus King getting in there from Putteridge in lane number 6. Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock has been a good swim from him. He seems to be starting to come through and take the gold position that he once held earlier on in this race. And it does look like Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock, that was in doubt, but no longer is as he comes into that final 5 metres. It is going to be Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock. 2:16.15. He takes the gold. Kian Lee in second, 2:18.61. And Marcus King, he gets bronze, 2:19.23. Moving on to event 3, 4, 6, the men's 17 and over 200 metre butterfly final. In lane number 1 from Basildon and Phoenix, Iso Ferrugia. In lane 2 from Bishop Stortford, Jake Lloyd. In lane number 3 from Flitwick, Harrison Shaw. In lane number 4 from Watford, it's Matthew Aldred. In lane number 5 from Basildon and Phoenix, Daniel McGuinness. In lane number 6 from the City of Cambridge, Ryan Wall. In lane 7 from Team Ipswich, Zach Troman. And in lane number 8 from Colchester, Sanjis Chechens. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 17 years and over 200 metre butterfly final. Over to you, referee. Fast starts off the block from these gentlemen. 2:12.70. That is what Matthew Aldred swam this morning in order to be in pole position for this afternoon's final. But at the turn then, it is still Matthew Aldred of Watford managing to turn first, closely followed by Harrison Shaw, Daniel McGuinness in third. Fourth, well, that could go to any number of people. Ryan Wall, Zach Troman and Sanjis Chechens in 6, 7 and 8. But off the wall there, it was Matthew Aldred and Harrison Shaw, of which are occupying those gold and silver medal positions. Daniel McGuinness starting to come into the foray here. These three swimmers starting to separate themselves from the group. Harrison Shaw, though, Jake Lloyd, forgive me, of Bishop Stortford, having none of that. He wants some of the action. Turning then halfway stage. Less than half a second between Matthew Aldred and Harrison Shaw. McGuinness in third, Chechens and Troman in fourth and fifth. Lloyd not too far behind, but these gentlemen certainly breaking away from the rest of the pack here. Aldred in first, Shaw second, McGuinness in third. Will these medal positions change on the final 50 metres? We soon shall see. But it's going to be Aldred of Watford Swimming Club who turns first. Second, that is a very close run thing between McGuinness and Shaw in 5 and 6. McGuinness seems to, after that underwater phase, come up second. But no one is able to catch Matthew Aldred of Watford at this stage. Shaw dropping down into third. McGuinness has his eyes very closely set on Matthew Aldred. Has he left it too late? There's a final 5 metres to go. It is going to be very close on the touch. It looks like McGuinness might get it, but it is going to be Matthew Aldred. He gets the gold there, 2:10.17. Daniel McGuinness in second. He gets the silver, 2:10.61. And Harrison Shaw not too far behind, but he gets bronze, 2:15.99. Over to the ladies now for event 3, 4, 7, the women's 15 years 100 metre breaststroke final. In lane number 1 from Clacton, we have Emily Turner. In lane 2 from Watford, Summer Everson. In lane 3 from the city of Cambridge, Yan Ting Emily Pack. In lane 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Jasmine Carter. In lane 5 from Norwich Swan, Charlize Harding. In lane 6 from Biggleswade, Isabel White. In lane number 7 from Hoddesdon, Molly Seymour. And in lane number 8 from Harlow Penguin, Summer Buckland. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the women's 15 years 100 metre breaststroke final. Referee. Do not be surprised if Jasmine Carter goes out in front. She qualified for this final nearly 4 seconds in front of the next competitor. We will soon be seeing whether or not that was tactics on behalf of those other competitors in this race, but she seems to have had a very good start here. Yan Ting Emily Pack not letting her get too far in front though of the city of Cambridge in lane number 3. Third at the moment goes to Charlize Harding of Norwich Swan. Fourth to Isabel White of Biggleswade, but turning first is Jasmine Carter in 4. Yan Ting Emily Pack in second. Third seems to go to Charlize Harding of Norwich Swan. There isn't a 4-second gap as we saw in the heat, but Jasmine Carter going very strong here, starting to make a little bit of headway here, a little bit of headroom between her and Yan Ting Emily Pack here. And in this final 10 metres, we really can start to see there being a gap appearing between Jasmine Carter and Yan Ting Emily Pack. Final few strokes for her, 1:11.21. Second goes to Emily Yan Ting, 1:14.04, and Charlize Harding gets third, 1:15.54. Those positions didn't change throughout that race, but some strong swims. Event 3, 4, 8, the women's 16 years 100 metre breaststroke final. In lane number 1 from the city of Peterborough, Veronica Majereska. In lane 2 from West Suffolk, Kira Broad. In lane number 3 from the city of Cambridge, Alice Watts. In lane 4 from St Ives, Tessa Quayle. In lane 5 from the city of St Albans, Georgina Hamilton. In lane 6 from the city of Norwich, Ellie Smith. In lane number 7 from Hitchin, Hannah Lovelock. And in lane number 8 from Basildon and Phoenix, Kesha Crees. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists. The women 16 years, 100 metre breaststroke. Over to you, referee. Up first is Tessa Quayle of St Ives in lane number 4. Not messing around much with that underwater phase, and it certainly seems to have paid off. She seems to be increasing her lead somewhat. Georgina Hamilton of the city of St Albans, close on her left-hand side here. Third at the touch seems to be Kira Broad of West Suffolk in lane number 2. Kesha Crees of Basildon and Phoenix also wanting some of the action here, but turning first is Tessa Quayle of St Ives. Georgina Hamilton of the city of St Albans, not too far behind in second place. Third is Kesha Crees in lane number 8. But as we now come to the final 25 metres, it is going to be a battle between Tessa Quayle and Georgina Hamilton for the gold medal here. It looks to be that the stroke rate of Georgina Hamilton starting to increase. Could she be taking the gold here? Final 10 metres for these ladies. Tessa Quayle looks like she's able to hang on, but Georgina Hamilton coming in to finish very strong, looking like she's going to be taking the touch, and she does. 1:17.28, a gold medal for the city of St Albans from Tessa Quayle in second and Ellie Smith in third. Event 349, the women's 17 years and over 100 metre breaststroke final. In lane number 1 from the city of Peterborough, Liddy Davis. In lane 2 from St Ives, Chloe Butler. In lane number 3 from Hatfield, Ashley Ransom. In lane 4 from the city of Cambridge, Rebecca Keatley. In lane 5 from the city of Cambridge, Beth Young. In lane 6 from the city of Norwich, Ellen Eccleston. In lane 7 from Hatfield, Caitlin Hartley. And in lane number 8 from the city of Norwich, Molly Monk. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists of the women's 17 years and over 100 metre breaststroke final. Over to you, referee. Beth Young in lane number 5, of course, of Team Ipswich. She qualified second fastest here, one of the last ones up out of the underwater phase. Rebecca Keatley of the city of Cambridge, one of the first, but certainly Beth Young of Team Ipswich currently leading the way. Hatfield's Ashley Ransom in third. But certainly these ladies bunching up together as they turn onto their final 50 metres. It is Beth Young of Team Ipswich who is turning first. She qualified for this evening's final, 1:14.24. After that turn and the underwater phase, she still is in front. Rebecca Keatley and Ashley Ransom not too far behind her. Caitlin Hartley in lane number 7 also starting to come into the fray, as is Chloe Butler of St Ives. But it is going to be for the gold medal between Beth Young and Ashley Ransom here. It is going to be on the touch. It looks to be as they come into the final 5 metres. Oh, so close. But Team Ipswich's Beth Young, she gets the gold. 1:12.95. Second, Ashley Ransom. Third, Rebecca Keatley. But the Team Ipswich from there getting gold. Event 350, the men's 15-year freestyle final. In lane number 1 from Norwich Swan, Oscar Hunter. In lane 2 from Hoddesdon, Maxwell Hoysier. In lane 3 from the city of St Albans, Luke Bernard. In lane 4 from Braintree, Joshua Parker. In lane 5 from Braintree, Jamie Comity. In lane number 6 from Bishop Stortford, Dylan Davenport. In lane 7 from the city of Cambridge, Oliver Davey. And in lane number 8 from the city of Cambridge, Frank Jacob. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists, the men's 15-year 50-meter freestyle final. Over to you, referee. And off they go. A start really can be important, and certainly Jamie Comity at Basildon and Phoenix is not going to let that impact him. He is in second position at the moment. He had a fantastic start. Joshua Parker at Braintree, though, he is pulling out in front. He's going to be regional champion here for the 50-meter freestyle. It's going to be Parker in first, Comity in second, and Luke Bernard in third. What a fantastic comeback there for Jamie Comity at Basildon and Phoenix, winning that silver medal as we now move on to the next final. Event 351, the men's 16 years 50-meter freestyle final. In lane number 1 from Saffron Walden, Theo Bari. In lane number 2 from the city of Peterborough, Joshua Sacri. In lane number 3 from Dunmer Atlantis, Evan McQuaid. In lane 4 from Thurrock, Joshua Shepherd. In lane 5 from Putteridge, Ollie O'Connor. In lane 6 from Rochford, Ronnie Edwards. In lane number 7 from Watford, Daniel Sicko. And in lane number 8 from the city of St Albans, Hugo Remachek-Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists. The men 16 years and over, 50-meter freestyle final. Referee. Blink and you'll miss it. All of those swimmers, look at the power that they have as they break out of the water. trying to get themselves a gold medal here. It is looking to be Joshua Shepherd and Ollie O'Connor of Thurrock who are battling it out here, but it is going to be on the touch. A good swim from Hugo Rebachek-Smith on the outside, but first, who's going to get it? Oh, Emma McQuaid, 24.9. Ollie O'Connor gets silver and Joshua Shepherd gets bronze. 0.02 in it between silver and bronze there. Event 352, the men's 17 years and over 50-meter freestyle final. In lane number 1 from Thurrock, Ethan Martin. In lane 2 from the city of Norwich, Jack Aram. In lane 3 from the city of Cambridge, Jacques Bonzel. In lane 4 from Witham Dolphins, Maddox Roberts. In lane 5 from Team Luton, Matthew Wright. In lane 6 from the city of Norwich, Olivier Vadren. In lane number 7 from Dumber Atlantis, Damon Elliott. And in lane number 8 from West Norfolk, Nathan Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 17 years and over 50-meter freestyle referee. Up first then is Ethan Martin of Thurrock in lane number 1. Many of these gentlemen will be looking to go sub 24. In fact, many will be looking to see how close they can get to that. But it looks to be Matthew Wright and Maddox Roberts here. Maddox Roberts going to get the touch, 23.67. Matthew Wright second, and third goes to Jacques Bonzel in lane number 3. Event 353, the women's 15 years 100-meter butterfly final. In lane number 1 from Norwich Swan, Lily Morell. In lane 2 from Hatfield, Eva Ives. In lane number 3 from the city of Norwich, Olivia Greenall. In lane 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Jasmine Carter. In lane 5 from Basildon and Phoenix, Sophie Palmer. In lane number 7 from St. Felix School is Grace Robinson. In lane number 7 from Putteridge, Men Like Dagnan. And in lane number 8 from Biggleswade, Amy Mayer. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the women's 15 years 100-meter butterfly final. Over to you, referee. Jasmine Carter of Basildon Phoenix, the fastest qualifier here of 1:05.91. She's had a very busy championships. as have many of the girls in this heat. Many of them have the 100-meter freestyle final to swim later on. But out in front at the at the halfway stage, I was going to say the first turn then. There is only one turn. Sophie Palmer of Basildon and Phoenix. Jasmine Carter, her teammate, after the underwater phase, taking the gold medal position. Olivia Greenall of the City of Norwich in third. But still out in front is Jasmine Carter, Olivia Greenall and Sophie Palmer in those podium positions. Jasmine Carter here, 105.91. That's what she qualified in. She's going to be aiming to beat that, and in fact she does. 104.11. Greenall takes silver, 105.34, and Palmer takes bronze. Event 3-5 for the women's 16 years 100-meter butterfly final. In lane number 1 from the City of Cambridge, Genevieve White. In lane number 2 from the City of Peterborough, Vanessa Simonova. In lane 3 from the City of Peterborough, Olivia Manette. In lane 4 from Bedford, Eloise Cole. In lane 5 from West Norfolk, Millie Harris. In lane 6 from the City of Peterborough, Sadie Hunter. In lane 7 from Putteridge, Poppy McGill. And in lane number 8 from Putteridge, Eleanor McLeod. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the women's 16 years 100-meter butterfly. Over to you, referee. Three City of Peterborough swimmers here, 2 Putteridge swimmers. No doubt they're going to be having a bit of team rivalry in the water. But it is West Norfolk swimmer Millie Harris of whom has had the best start, and she is out in front. Eloise Cole of Bedford not far behind at all. But certainly it's Millie Harris of West Norfolk of whom is going for it here. At the turn then, it is almost simultaneous between Eloise Cole and Millie Harris in 4 and 5. Up first was Eloise Cole of Bedford. She qualified for this final with a time of 1:03.73. She looks to be taking the lead here. Second goes to Millie Harris. Olivia Manette of the City of Peterborough in third. But the final 5 meters now, and it's going to be Eloise Cole of Bedford who's going to be comfortably taking the gold medal here. What time is she going to get? It is going to be a 1:03.75. Manette gets second, Harris in third. Moving on now to event 3-5-5, the women's 17 years and over 100-meter butterfly final. In lane number 1 from Bishop Stortford, Emma Fields. In lane number 2 from St Ives, Chloe Butler. In lane 3 from the City of Peterborough, Hannah Willis. In lane 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Sky Carter. In lane 5 from Team Ipswich, Matilda Bogle. In lane 6 from the City of Cambridge, Georgia Holgate. In lane 7 from Chelmsford, Kate Cotter. And in lane number 8 from the City of Peterborough, Megan Donovan. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the women's 17 years and over 100 meters butterfly. Referee. Just 4 seconds between the fastest and slowest competitor here. Sky Carter, though, up here in lane number 4, up first and leading the way. The orange hat of Basildon and Phoenix quite evidently out in front. Still going strong. Starting to put a little bit of distance between her and her nearest competitor, which looks to be Hannah Willis of the City of Peterborough in lane number 3. Sky Carter, though, turning first. Second is Hannah Willis. The third, Matilda Bogle in lane number 5. But Sky Carter, as we've said previously, has had a very busy championships. It looks to be a very successful one for her as well. She's going to be final 10 meters for her. She's going to be touching quite comfortably to get the gold medal and be regional champion here. Gliding in 101.83. Second goes to Hannah Willis. Matilda Bogle in third. Moving on to event 3, 5, 6, the men's 15 years 200 meter breaststroke final. In lane number 1 from Bedford, Berkeley Barneycoat. In lane 2 from West Norfolk, Joshua Jones. In lane 3 from the City of Peterborough, Frank Lamb. In lane number 4 from Team Ipswich, Charlie Ruddle. In lane 5 from Thurrock, James Bagetton. Lane number 6 from Witham Dolphins, Simon Pezecki. Lane number 7 from Harlow Penguins, George Jones. And in lane number 8 from Flitwick, Daniel De Filippo. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 15 years 200 meter breaststroke final. Over to you, referee. .200 meters breaststroke then. Quite a difference in time between the fastest and slowest from this morning, almost 20 seconds. So do not be surprised if these gentlemen are not grouped together throughout the race. But off with a strong start is Thurrock's James McGettigan. Second looks to be Charlie Ruddle of Team Ipswich. Simon Pezecki of Witham Dolphins in third. But after 50 meters, it is Charlie Ruddle of Team Ipswich and James McGettigan of Thurrock, of whom are leading the way here. As you can see on your screens, not much in it at all. The question will be, who has the most energy left in order to maximize their stroke rate in the next 100 meters? Turning first, Charlie Ruddle, 111.79, not too far behind. Just 0.49. James McGettigan, Simon Pezecki in third, Joshua Jones, Frank Lamb in fourth and fifth. But Charlie Ruddle of Team Ipswich here starting to make progress. James McGettigan certainly not letting out of his sight, nor is he letting him out of a distance of which he wants to be able to regain and take the lead. But as we go on to the final 50 meters, it still is Charlie Ruddle of Team Ipswich. James McGettigan in second. Third, well, that looks to be a close run-of-the-mill thing between Joshua Jones, Frank Lamb and Simon Pezecki in 2, 3 and 6. But right out in front is Charlie Ruddle of Team Ipswich. You can see that James McGettigan is desperately trying to make up some space between him and Charlie, but to no avail. Final 5 meters here, and it is going to be Charlie Ruddle of Team Ipswich who is going to be regional champion. 2:30.03. Second, that's going to be James McGettigan, 2:33.75. And third, well, that is going to be a very tight thing here, but it looks to be so close. 0.04 in it, but it is going to be Simon Pezecki who gets the bronze medal there. Event 357, the men's 16 years 200 meter breaststroke final. In lane number 1 from the city of Peterborough, Kian Lee. In lane number 2 from the city of Norwich, Harvey Durham. In lane 3 from Putteridge, George Prince. In lane 4 from Chelmsford, Saxon Minto. In lane 5 from Chelmsford, Rhys Burns. In lane number 6 from the city of Peterborough, Joshua Zachary. In lane 7 from Norwich Swan, Henry Mann. And in lane number 8 from Bedford, George Little. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 16 years 200 meter breaststroke final. Over to you, referee. Saxon Minto of Chelmsford in lane number 4. He qualified with a time of 2:29.79. So the only one to go sub 2 minutes 30. However, one would assume that many of these boys have personal bests under that, and they'll be looking to go under that to be in contemplation of a regional medal here in Luton. Teammates Saxon Minto and Rhys Burns of Chelmsford turning not much in it there, but coming up is Joshua Zachary and George Prince of the city of Peterborough and Putteridge. Look at these four swimmers in the middle. Each battling it out here, pacing off one another. But it looks to be out in front at this present moment in time. Rhys Burns of Chelmsford. At the turn then, it is going to be Rhys Burns, 111.94, 0.01, but behind him is Saxon Minto. George Prince about, well, less than a second behind those two gentlemen. Joshua Zachary of the city of Peterborough in lane number 6 is currently in 4th. Henry Mann of Bedford, of Norwich Swan, forgive me, in 5th. But returning to those out in front, Rhys Burns of Chelmsford, he seems to be leading the way. Can he maintain and hold on to this lead? To do so means he will become regional champion. If he doesn't, he might have to settle for silver or bronze, which is currently what Saxon and George in lanes 4 and 3 are going to have to settle for. Final 25 metres, and it looks to be Rhys Burns of Chelmsford who is starting to power away from his teammate. He looks to be going to claim the regional title here. Saxon Minto is going to have to settle for silver, but Rhys Burns there, 2:27.64. Second is his teammate Saxon Minto as a Chelmsford 1-2, and George Prince gets bronze, 2:32.57. We now move on to event 358, the men's 17 years and over 200 meter breaststroke final. In lane number 1 from the city of Peterborough, Josh Martin. In lane number 2 from St Felix School, Charlie McKitton. Lane number 3 from the city of Norwich, Ben Buckley. In lane 4 from the city of Norwich, Olivia Vadren. In lane 5 from Norwich Swan, James Noble. In lane 6 from the city of Cambridge, Edward Ormsby. In lane 7 from Colchester, Darrell Rands. And in lane number 8 from Norwich Swan, Lewis Andrews. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 17 years and over 200-meter breaststroke final. Over to you, referee. The underwater phase on this 200 meters breaststroke looks to have propelled Olivier Verdren of the City of Norwich out in front. He is, of course, the fastest qualifier, as he is, in fact, the fastest qualifier by quite some time as well. Just over 3 seconds here. Look at that stroke rate. Nice long glides, certainly holding his stretch there. As he turns first quite comfortably, it would seem. Ben Buckley in second. Third looks to be James Noble of Norwich Swan, and Edward Ormsby in fourth here. But Olivier Verdren starting to pick up the pace, but still holding a very nice glide there, trying to conserve as much energy to be used on the back end. Ben Buckley of the City of Norwich, his teammate, in second. James Noble of Norwich Swan in third. But at the halfway stage, touching after the first 100, 107.82. That is Olivier Verdren. Ben Buckley about 4 and a bit seconds behind him. James Noble not too far behind either. But Olivier Verdren, look at the gap that's opened up there. Look at the stroke rate. It is starting to increase. You can see the power of the arms. You can see the movement of which is occurring through the water. James Noble and Ben Buckley still in second and third. It looks like James Noble of Norwich Swan is just pipping Ben Buckley to second here. Edward Ormsby and Darryl Rands in fourth. But Olivier Verdren, it doesn't look like anyone's going to catch him. He's had a very comfortable race here. He went out in front. He's led and he's managed to hold it. And look at that gap of at least 5 meters. He qualified this morning with a 2:25.33. I think he's going to be comfortably under that. Final 5 meters for him. And he's going to touch there 2:20.08. Second, it looks like Ben Buckley has managed to regain that, so it could be a City of Norwich 1-2. And it is going to be, but not by an awful lot. Buckley in second. Noble gets the bronze there with a time of 2:28.72. We now move on to event 359, the women's 15 years 100 meter freestyle final. In lane number 1 from the City of Norwich, Olivia Greenall. In lane 2 from Basildon and Phoenix, Nicole Maynard. In lane 3 from Hatfield, Eva Ives. In lane 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Sophie Palmer. In lane 5 from St. Felix School, Grace Robinson. In lane number 6 from the City of Peterborough, Annabelle Kett. In lane 7 from Team Ipswich, Erin Uttridge. And in lane number 8, it's Basildon and Phoenix's Yasmin Carter. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the women's 15 years 100 meter freestyle final. Over to you, referee. These are all names of which we have seen throughout this championships. We've seen them in multiple finals this evening. And we have seen them performing to some of the highest levels of regional swimming. Sophie Palmer of Basildon and Phoenix, the fastest qualifier for this final. Grace Robinson of St. Felix School in 5. Turning first, though, it is very close between Eva Ives, Sophie Palmer and Grace Robinson here. It looks to be Grace Robinson of St. Felix School, of whom is starting to power through, starting to be inched just in front of Sophie Palmer of Basildon, but certainly you can't discount Jasmine Carter of Basildon and Phoenix. It looks to be at the touch. Who is it going to be? Oh, just by 0.08. Grace Robinson in first, Palmer in second, and Eva Ives gets third. We now move on to event 360, the women's 16 years 100 meter freestyle final. In lane number 1 from Chelmsford, Ella Dawson. In lane number 2 from Newmarket, Isabel Thomas. In lane 3 from Dummer Atlantis, Daisy Russell. In lane number 4 from the city of Peterborough, Olivia Manette. In lane 5 from the city of Norwich, Katerina Di Maria. In lane 6 from Bedford, Eloise Cole. In 7 from Watford, Callan Here. And in lane number 8 from Hatfield, Erin Curry. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists, the women's 16 years 100 meter freestyle final. Over to you, referee. Olivia Manette of the city of Peterborough, the only competitor here to go sub 1 minute in this morning's heat. No doubt those ladies are going to be able to, well, they're certainly going to be aiming and aspiring to go sub 1 minute and break that barrier. And Katerina Di Maria of the city of Norwich certainly giving it a good shot, with Daisy Russell in a second. But look at that, there is not much in it at all. Katerina Di Maria of the city of Norwich starting to inch in front. Olivia Manette not letting her get away with it too easily. Who is going to get the goal between these two ladies? It is going to be Olivia Manette, 59.5. Katerina Di Maria goes sub 1 minute, 59.71. And Eloise Cole gets bronze. Moving on then to event 361, the women's 17 years and over 100 meter freestyle final. In lane number 1 from Chelmsford, Alexa Mann. In lane number 2 from Team Ipswich, Ellen Duffield. In lane 3 from the city of Norwich, Grace Greenhalgh. In lane 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Sky Carter. In lane 5 from Biggleswade, Shauna Lee. In lane 6 from the city of Cambridge, Georgia Holgate. In lane number 7 from Bishop's Stortford, Lucy Wheeler. And in lane number 8 from Devon, Connie Davies. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists, the women's 17 years and over 100 meter freestyle final. Over to you, referee. Six of the 8 finalists tonight have gone sub 1 minute, so that is not a worry or consideration for them. They are just focused on fast swimming, and yet again, time after time after time, we see Sky Carter of Basildon and Phoenix. What a start she has had. Shauna Lee in lane number 5 turning second, Grace Greenhalgh and Ellen Duffield in lane number 2 in 4th. But Sky Carter here, she is currently in first. Shauna Lee giving her a run for her money here. It's a little bit closer than perhaps she would have liked as we come into the final 10 meters. Sky Carter yet again going to claim another regional title here. touching with a time of 56.70. Shauna Lee in second, 57.14. And third goes to Grace Greenhalgh, 58.68. This is now event 362, the men's 15 years 200 meter backstroke final. In lane number 1 from Harwich, Hugo Arthurley. In lane number 2 from Norwich Swan, Oscar Hunter. In lane 3 from the city of Cambridge, Martin Monlar. In lane number 4 from Basildon and Phoenix, Ethan Thorpe. In lane 5 from the city of Cambridge, Norbert Kadar. In lane 6 from the city of St Albans, Zach Fellows. In lane number 7 from Newhall, Dalio Kravchenko. And in lane number 8 from Harpenden, Parker Brewster. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists, the men's 15 years 200 meter backstroke final. Over to you, referee. We move on now to the last individual male event of this weekend, the 200 meter backstroke final. Zach Fellows of the city of St Albans, he had a good start using that backstroke ledge there. He qualified with a time of 2:20.9, certainly going to be aiming to beat that. But after the first 50 at the turn then, it does appear to be Norbert Kadar of the city of Cambridge of whom is turning first. Second is Zach Fellows of the city of St Albans, Ethan Thorpe in third. But as you can see, there is not much in it at all. Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix. At the halfway stage then, he is taking the lead. He is in gold medal position, 105.51. Nearly 2 seconds in front of Norbert Kadar and Zach Fellows in lanes 5 and 6. Martin Monlar and Oscar Hunter in 3 and 2 also wanting to be part of this group. But have a look here. Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix starting to put a little bit of distance between him and Zach Fellows and Norbert Kadar. Final 50 meters for him as he turns onto it. Second looks to be Zach Fellows of the city of St Albans, but only by a fraction of a fingernail. Norbert Kadar still in second. But the final 25 meters here for Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix. Zach Fellows starting to put a little bit of distance between himself and Norbert Kadar to be in silver medal position. But final 5 meters for Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix. What time is he going to get? He's going to touch 2:14.93. Zach Fellows there, 2:16.18. Getting a silver medal there for the city of St Albans and himself. And Norbert Kadar in third, getting the bronze, 2:18.26. Event 363, the men's 16 years 200 meter backstroke final. In lane number 1 from Rochford, Ronnie Edwards. In lane 2 from Basildon and Phoenix, William East. In lane 3 from Bedford, Ryan Close. In lane 4 from Hatfield, Oliver Baskerville. In lane 5 from Team Ipswich, Oscar Winterburn. In lane number 6 from Watford, Rafferty May. In lane number 7 from the city of Peterborough, Orlando Deering. And in lane number 8 from Braintree, Albert Orley. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 16 years 200 metre backstroke final. Referee. Oliver Baskerville of Hatfield, the fastest qualifier, 2:08.1 this morning. But up first is Oscar Winterburn of Team Ipswich, out in lane number 5. His eyes will be set on becoming a regional champion in the 16 years age group category. But what a swim at the moment, or what a start from Ronnie Edwards, out in lane number 1. He's going to be turning first. Oliver Baskerville in second, Oscar Winterburn and Ryan Close in third and fourth respectively, as is Orlando Deering in fifth. But these gentlemen in the middle seem to be taking those podium positions now. Orlando Deering on that outside lane in lane number 7, certainly wanting to get into that grouping, as is William East of Basildon and Phoenix in lane number 2, and Ronnie Edwards of Rochdale. But Oliver Baskerville, 1:04.51. That's his 100 metre split. Just over a second between him and Oscar Winterburn. Ryan Close, Orlando Deering, Ronnie Edwards not too far behind at all. But still out in front is the pink hat of Hatfield, Oliver Baskerville in lane number 4. He was the fastest qualifier here. He's certainly going to be looking to be the fastest swimmer in this final. And there's about 5 metres, just less than 5 metres between him, ably supported by all of his teammates on the far end of the pool. Second, Oscar Winterburn. Third is Ryan Close of Bedford. But right out in front is Oliver Baskerville. It was in doubt at the early stages, but it is not in doubt now. He is going to be a regional champion as he comes now into his final few strokes. His time to beat from this morning, 2:08.1. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that, but he is going to claim himself a regional title. 2:10.29. Oscar Winterburn of Team Ipswich in second, 2:13.22. And Ryan Close, 2:15.25, secures him the bronze. And we move on to event 364, the men's 17 years and over 200 metre backstroke final. In lane number 1 from the city of Cambridge, Matthew Money. In lane number 2 from the city of Cambridge, Janos Kadar. In lane 3 from West Suffolk, Miles Turner. In lane number 4 from Thurrock, Nikita Charlinkin. In lane 5 from West Norfolk, Nathan Wells. In lane 6 from the city of Cambridge, Edward Ormsby. In lane number 7 from Basildon and Phoenix, Oliver Smith. And in lane number 8 from Thurrock, Ben Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists, the men's 17 years and over 200 metre backstroke final. Over to you, Madam Referee. Who is going to claim the final regional individual title of this championships for this weekend here in Luton? We are about to find out, but Nikita Charlinkin of Thurrock certainly giving it a good go. Nathan Wells in second at the moment, but still all to play for. And look at Matthew Money of the city of Cambridge. He has had a very good championship so far in the outside lane. He's going to be turning first. Nikita Charlinkin in second. Nathan Wells in third. Out of the turn then, Nikita Charlinkin in second. Miles Turner in third. Nathan Wells in second. But certainly Matthew Money looking to be very close actually between him and Nikita Charlinkin for first place. At that halfway stage then, we will find out the difference in time. Nikita Charlinkin, 1:02.04. Not much in it, 0.71 between him and Matthew Money. Miles Turner in second, Nathan Wells in third. But Nikita Charlinkin is currently in the lead. Miles Turner in second, Nathan Wells in third. And look at that, it's looking like a very comfortable swim here for Nikita Charlinkin here. Miles Turner starting to come up on his left-hand side, our right. And look at that, the gap has well and suitably closed between Miles Turner and Nikita Charlinkin. No doubt Miles will be aware that he is not too far behind him, Nikita, of whom is currently going on course to be regional champion. Third looks to be a battle between Oliver Smith and Nathan Wells here, but regional champion, that title is going to go to Nikita Charlinkin of Thurrock. Glides in there, 2:08.63. Miles Turner, 2:09.39. Less than a second in between. And Oliver Smith of Basildon and Phoenix, 2:13 dead. That gets him a bronze medal. We now move on to event 365, the women's 14 to 16 years 4x100 meter freestyle team relay. In lane number 1, we have the City of St Albans. In lane 2, we have the City of Peterborough A. In lane 3, we have the City of Norwich. In lane 4, Basildon and Phoenix. In lane 5, Newmarket. In lane number 6, Hatfield. And in lane number 7, Chelmsford. Over to you, referee. Georgina Hamilton going in first for the City of St Albans. Veronica Makulajewska of the City of Peterborough in 2. Katerina Di Maria of the City of Norwich is in 3. Jasmine Hall of Basildon and Phoenix. What a busy session she has had in 4. Andrea Radunate of Newmarket is in 5. Eva Ives of Hatfield in 6. Ella Dawson of Chelmsford in lane number 7, but Basildon and Phoenix's Jasmine Hall seems to be delivering a strong lead for them as she comes now into her final 20 or so meters. City of Norwich in 2nd, City of Peterborough in 3rd, but Basildon and Phoenix, it is going to be Jasmine Hall passing the baton on to Jasmine Carter. City of Norwich's Katerina Di Maria passes the baton on to Olivia Greenall, and Veronica Makulajewska passes it to Vanessa Simonova of the City of Peterborough here in those medal positions. But Jasmine Carter of the City of Basildon and Phoenix hoping to cement Basildon and Phoenix's lead over the City of Norwich. It looks to have closed somewhat as Olivia Greenall has entered the pool. Third is still the City of Peterborough, but Jasmine Carter has managed to hold off any threat from the City of Norwich. It will be up to her teammates in order to see that continues to remain the case. Passing the baton now to Nicole Maynard. City of Norwich in 2nd still. 3rd is City of Peterborough, closely followed by Hatfield and Newmarket. Nicole Maynard here though, not letting the City of Norwich's Evie Greenhalgh gain any ground whatsoever as they turn onto their final 50 meters. Of course, we still have one swimmer to go. But it is Basildon and Phoenix who is still in the lead. City of Peterborough A, or just the City of Peterborough. That will do. Moving up into 2nd position, that is Olivia Manette, who has managed to get them into 2nd. Norwich dropping into 3rd. Newmarket into 4th. Hatfield into 5th, but Sophie Palmer of Basildon and Phoenix here, you can see her go. The City of Peterborough's Annabelle Kett trying desperately to take some ground away from Basildon and Phoenix. City of Norwich still out in 3rd. Newmarket and Hatfield battling it out for 4th. But Basildon and Phoenix, what a start they have had. They have managed to retain 1st place throughout this race. City of Peterborough not a threat enough. They are going to have to settle for silver. But Basildon and Phoenix there. Sophie Palmer coming in to take gold. 4:03.47. City of Peterborough A in second, and the City of Norwich getting third there. Moving on then to event 366, the women's 17 years and over 4x100 metre freestyle team relay. In lane number 1, we have the City of Peterborough. Lane number 2, the City of Cambridge. Lane number 3, Hatfield. In lane 4, Basildon and Phoenix. In lane 5, the City of Norwich. In lane 6, Bishop Stortford. And in lane number 7, Chelmsford. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the female 17 years and over 4x100 metre freestyle team relay. Over to you, referee. The City of Peterborough swimmers there, certainly having a little bit of fun behind the blocks. In for them is Shad Mohammed. Second in for the City of Cambridge, we have Georgia Holgate. Charlotte Williams is in lane number 3 for Hatfield. Basildon and Phoenix's Lexi O'Connor is in lane number 4. Lane 5 is Jessica Jane Applegate for the City of Norwich. Bishop Stortford's Laura Burgess is in 6. And lane number 7 is Kate Cotter of Chelmsford. But it does seem to be Hatfield after the first 50 metres here, of whom is leading the way. Second is going to be between Basildon and Phoenix in the City of Cambridge. But of course, there is still all to play for. We have 3 athletes left from each team. Bishop Stortford though, sorry, forgive me, Chelmsford here, looking to be powering into front. There they are, 1 minute .38. Second is Basildon and Phoenix. Hatfield in third. City of Norwich in fourth. Basildon and Phoenix in fifth. Chelmsford's Kate Cotter passes the baton on to Lisa Learman, who seems to be able to maintain that lead. Izzy Mather of the City of Cambridge in for them. Emola Jozza of Hatfield. Lexi Goodman of Basildon and Phoenix. Millie Fields of the City of Norwich. With Neve James of Bishop Stortford in 7 and Isabel Cameron of the City of Peterborough in lane number 1. But certainly the medal positions have changed. The City of Cambridge's Izzy Mather managing to push them up into first. But at the touch is also close. City of Cambridge in first, Chelmsford in second, not by a lot. Look at that, by .04, third and fourth. Basildon and Phoenix in third, City of Norwich in fourth. There is all to play for. Megan Pye now of the City of Norwich looking to get that silver medal position for the City of Norwich. But Francesca Baber of the City of Cambridge still out in front. Megan Pye dropping back into third for Norwich. Basildon and Phoenix's Ruby Wheeler is out in front. It seems to me that she might be rivaling the City of Cambridge here for first position as these ladies come on to their final 10 metres. It is still all to play for, and it will be up to the final competitors to determine who gets the regional gold. Basildon and Phoenix's Sky Carter jumping in there. City of Cambridge's Rebecca Keatley takes up the baton. Grace Green half on behalf of the City of Norwich in third, but Sky Carter, well, what a championships she has had, and she looks set to continue that, to sail Basildon and Phoenix to victory here. City of Norwich managed to regain second position with Grace Green half in for them. Third of the City of Cambridge, Rebecca Keatley swimming there, taking up the baton for the final length. But Sky Carter of the Basildon and Phoenix going to be cruising to victory here. Final few strokes for her. And they are going to take the touch, 3:58.84. City of Norwich takes second, and the City of Cambridge gets third. Moving on then to event 367, the men's 14 to 16 years 4x100 medley team relay this week. So over 2 heats, heat 1, the referee. Three teams in the water here. We have in lane number 3 the City of Peterborough B team. Thurrock is in lane 4 and the City of St Albans is in lane number 5. Jacob Bacon for the City of Peterborough is in 3. Toby Onajide for Thurrock is in 4. And Zach Fellows of the City of St Albans is in 5. In the water now, we have Frank Lamb for the City of Peterborough, who seems to be out in front, closely rivaled by Ryan Ingram in lane number 5 for the City of St Albans. James McGettigan in 4 for Thurrock. That breaststroke leg then certainly closing the gap. City of St Albans currently in front, where we see Ryan Ingram taking over that lead. Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock is in 4, and Kian Lee of the City of Peterborough is in lane number 3. That butterfly leg really has determined the outcome of this race. We now see Kevin Moghina of Thurrock out in front, right out in front there by about 5 metres. Luke Bernard of the City of St Albans is in lane number 5. He looks to be, or appears to be, in second, but a very tight second in that because Kieran Nung is in third for the City of Peterborough. The gap has somewhat closed with Ryan Ingram and Kieran Nung in the water for the City of St Albans and the City of Peterborough. But final 5 metres here, and it is going to be Thurrock of whom takes the win in this heat number 1. City of St Albans takes second, and the City of Peterborough B takes third. We now turn to the timed final of the men's 14 to 16 years 4x100 medley team relay. In lane number 1, we have the City of Norwich. In lane 2, we have the City of Cambridge. In lane number 3, Norwich Swan. In lane 4, City of Peterborough A. In lane number 5, Basildon and Phoenix. In lane 6, Chelmsford. And in lane number 7, Hatfield. Over to you, referee. So in the water for the City of Norwich, we have James Clark. Cambridge's Norbert Kadar is in lane 2. Norwich Swans' Jan Bebelot is in 3. Peterborough's Orlando Deering goes in 4. Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix in 5. Anthony Ganchev of Chelmsford is in 6. And Oliver Baskerville of Hatfield, who currently is in the lead, is in lane number 7. But at the turn, though, it is Hatfield, Chelmsford and the Basildon and Phoenixes, along with the City of Peterborough, who are out in front. Oliver Baskerville of Hatfield certainly leading the way here, closely followed by Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix. But after the first 100, Hatfield is leading the way. Passing the baton on then to Niccolo Camalotti for the breaststroke length. City of Peterborough have Joshua Sacri in the race there. Third is Saxon Minto of Chelmsford. Robert Fenner for Basildon and Phoenix is currently in what appears to be 4th, but Joshua Sacri of the City of Peterborough he has extended the City of Peterborough's lead by quite some margin. Ross DeWilt of the City of Cambridge coming into the foray here. He is in second, bringing them up to that silver medal position. Saxon Minto bringing Chelmsford into third. But the City of Peterborough A, after the 200-metre mark at the halfway stage, out in front. Second currently is the City of Cambridge. Chelmsford in third. City of Peterborough then, they are out in front. It is going to be Jack Swindell, of whom is hoping to bring it home for them. City of Cambridge in second. That's Frank Jacob. Isaac Bushan of the City of Norwich in third. Callum Merrill of Chelmsford in fourth, but no one looks to be catching the City of Peterborough. They're now going to be turning on. Jack Swindell onto their last 50 metres. City of Cambridge in second. City of Norwich out in third. But look at this. No one is going to be able to catch Jack Swindell and the City of Peterborough A team as they are going to cruise to a regional title here. 4:07.63. Second is going to be Frank Jacob, who brings it home for the City of Cambridge. 4:13.38. And Norwich Swan get third there. 4:17.13. We now move on to event 368, the men's 17 years and over 400 metre medley team relay. This will be swum over 2 heats. Heat 1, referee. Just 3 teams in this first heat of the 4x100 medley team relay. In lane number 1. In lane 3 we have from Ware Oliver Tom. The City of St Albans' Alexander Cavabor is in 4, and Bishop Stortford's Jacob Hayes is in lane number 5. The City of St Albans there out in front. Bishop Stortford in second. Ware are going to be in third. Daniel Hollis in the water now for Costa. Callum Davis of Bishop Stortford in lane number 5, and Atkin Toe is in the water for Ware. Daniel Hollis of the City of St Albans managing to maintain that lead. Callum Davis definitely has him in his sights, but Daniel Hollis of the City of St Albans doing very well here. You can see that stroke rate really starting to pick up. Not much change there between the City of St Albans and Bishop Stortford. All of these teams honed from the county of Hertfordshire. And the City of St Albans going to hand over now to Nathaniel Mapley for the butterfly leg. George Grimwood is going into the water for Bishop Stortford, whereas Thomas Lydiard is going to be in the water for them. But Nathaniel Mapley, look at him fly for the City of St Albans. He certainly is not going to let that lead be given up between himself and George Grimwood of Bishop Stortford. Look at that, over 10 metres between them. I think the City of St Albans might comfortably win this heat as they look to Thomas Hooper to enter for the freestyle leg. But look at that, Bishopstorp are nowhere near the City of St Albans as they go in. Thomas Hooper goes in for the final 100 metre of this medley team relay. Jake Lloyd at Bishop Stortford is in lane number 5, with Thomas Curry going to be going in for Ware in lane number 3. They've touched in there to 3:31.32. But Thomas Hooper of the City of St Albans, over 10 metres between him and Jake Lloyd. Undoubtedly, they are going to be the victors of this first heat. Be very interesting to see the time of which they post and how that compares to the teams of which will be in the next heat. But the City of St Albans, Thomas Hooper, he's going to be taking the touch there, 4:13.2. Jake Lloyd coming in there for Bishop Stortford, and Thomas Curry comes in for Ware in the next few seconds. And that concludes heat number 1. We now move on to the timed final for the men's 17 years and over 4x100 medley team relay. In lane number 1, we have Biggleswade. In lane 2, Thurrock. In lane number 3, Basildon and Phoenix. In lane number 4, the City of Norwich. In lane 5, the City of Cambridge. In lane number 6, Norwich Swan. And in lane number 7, Hatfield. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your finalists for the men's 17 years and over 4x100 medley team relay. Over to you, referee. This is the final event of the night. It is the final event of at least this session of the championships. In lane number 1 for Biggleswade, we have William Murfitt. Thurrock's Ben Minister goes in 2. Oliver Smith for Basildon and Phoenix in 3. City of Norwich's Oliver Pike is in lane number 4. Matthew Money of the City of Cambridge is in 5. Timon Chapman of Norwich Swan in 6, and Jason Ho of Hatfield is in lane number 7. But leading the way here is Matthew Money of the City of Cambridge. Second appears to be a close run-of-the-mill thing between Hatfield and Thurrock. Hatfield just looking like they're clinching it as we come up to the relay takeover. The baton of the City of Cambridge now passing to Edward Ormsby. Hatfield goes to Samuel Jeffrey. Second is Norwich Swan. But you can clearly see the effort and the energy of the swimmers in the water. The City of Cambridge still out in front, but coming up on the inside is the City of Norwich. That is Olivier Verdren. He had a very good 200 metre earlier on in the session. No doubt is going to be helping to increase their placing as they progress through this. Look at that underwater, which has now propelled him into second. Hatfield and the Norwich Swan dropping back into third and fourth. But it is a battle between Olivier Verdren and Edward Ormsby here. in 4 and 5, and it is going to be very close on the touch. Could the City of Norwich take over? It does appear that that is a likely situation. And look at that, not much in it at all, but the City of Norwich there. Harry Jones jumps into the water for them. Riley Hall for the City of Cambridge, and look at that, not too much in it at all, as those two gentlemen start to put a little bit of distance between themselves and Henry Dean of Thurrock, Benedict Measures of Norwich Swan, and Joshua Ellis of Hatfield. City of Norwich still out in front, City of Cambridge in second. Turning third is Thurrock. Fourth and fifth is Norwich Swan and Hatfield. But what a swim here from Harry Jones of the City of Norwich. He has managed to put quite a substantial gap in between himself and the City of Cambridge, meaning that Jack Abraham of the City of Norwich will have a comfortable swim here. It might not be too comfortable though. As Jacques Bonzel is in the water for the City of Cambridge. The final 50 metres here. Thurrock now out in third. They have put a gap between themselves and Norwich Swan and Hatfield. But look out in front. We have the City of Norwich, the City of Cambridge. These two clubs have been tussling for the regional title here in Luton. But it is going to be Jack Abraham of the City of Norwich, of whom brings it home for them, 3:58.31. City of Cambridge, 4:01.21, and third, well, that goes to Thurrock, 4:05.59. And with that now concludes the Swim England East Region 2024 Long Course Championship session number 9 for the weekend. Well, I have nearly lost my voice, so I'm very pleased that now we are finished. But congratulations to all of those swimmers. Thank you to all of those volunteers, officials, and others of whom have helped to facilitate this event. And of course, all of the results are available on Sports Systems, and you can catch up if you want to relive the action of this session or others in Luton. You can watch it on YouTube. But it leaves me to wish you a very safe journey home, however long that is. I certainly hope if you've got far to travel, you're not caught up in the Sunday traffic. But have a very good evening, and it has been a pleasure.